Hey guys, this is Gladys the Baker, and today we are switching it up. Welcome to Beyond the Games, and this is another of the content creator interviews. And the switcheroo today is that I'm going to be interviewing our host, our streamer champion, and now the interviewee, Cryptic Panther. How are you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing all right, but geez, streaming champion, holy shit!
Streaming champion.
I don't.
No, because I'll tell you before we get into it, just to prelude this entire thing, I would like to do this with a statement of admiration for you, buddy, because one of my longest gaming friends, one of the guys who's got the most insight into how I play, the games that I enjoy, and the things that I like to do in those games. But personally, a friend as well. I have a lot of admiration for you, and I don't know if I've told you that lately, but the dedication that you've shown to streaming, to working hard to get your brand up and running, to making big strides here in the most recent section of weeks and months, and the big things you've got moving forward. I'm super proud of you. I'm happy to call you a friend. I'm happy to be here with you today. Thanks for having me.
Oh, jeez, I don't know. Wow, I don't know. I don't want to. I can't live up to that hype. Holy shit! Holy shit, dude. Wow.
This is where we cry.
This is where we cry. Good job. Good job. Ain't no camera on me right now. You know what I'm saying? Even though I just got my hair did and the beard trimmed up, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just still not camera ready.
You're not showing off the weave today?
No. I just lucky I still have any fucking hair left. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, so let's move right into it then. So first question for the people that are not completely aware of your long-running history with streaming. How long have you actually been streaming for?
Well, streaming started was kind of a weird thing for me. My YouTube career is definitely longer, and we can touch on a bit on that after. But with streaming, it started. Excuse me, it started a few years ago, and I just tried it. Like I done the YouTube thing, and the streaming thing was kind of thing, so I thought I'd try it. So took my hand at it, and I just kind of didn't get really a feel for it right off the start. It was I didn't have a direction. I didn't know where to go, what to do. None of my friends that I'd gamed with were into streaming. Everyone was doing anything was YouTube related, or they weren't even doing that. They were just gaming. So stepped into streaming. It's very basic at the first. My first real thing with streaming started whenever we done the charity stream when we were doing the podcast. Like we streamed the podcast quite a few times too.
Yep.
And we done that, and then we had the challenge where we were doing we done the 24-hour for the oh my god, I'm bad with names and charities right now.
That was wasn't that 8-bit?
No, that's
No.
Oh wow, I can't remember the name of the charity. Everyone knows it. Everybody knows it. I'm just on my mind is just like that intro killed me, dude. I'm still yeah, the
sorry,
intro
I wiped you.
Yeah, so we done the big charity thing like that, and that's when I got a cam, and because I'm thinking, well, if I'm gonna stream and we're gonna do this, let's do it right. So I got a cam, and I started streaming, and I really enjoyed it. The streaming before that really wasn't much for me. I never really got a grasp of it, but we started doing that 24-hour stream for charity, and then I kind of got a thing for it, and I kind of pushed in, and I was trying to get something to do, and I done a whole month in December of that year streaming for that charity. I streamed every day, even though some of the streams were extremely short because of my work schedule. It's like after working 13 hours, it's hard to jump in front of a cam and try to seem like I give a fuck about anything whenever I just went through 13 hours of tech support. Anyone that does tech support knows what I'm talking about. So yeah, I struggled and stuff like that, and you were streaming at the time, and Uber was streaming and everything else, and so I was trying to make like something. I was trying to get a community. I mean, yeah, everyone starts out and says, oh, I'm not in this to make money, I'm not in this to be my job, but technically I never dreamed or had the vision of me going one day to my wife, you know what, I'm quitting my full-time job to just become a full-time streamer, or even a YouTube creator at the time either. So it was kind of like, okay, like maybe I can build a community, because I mean I've been in quite a few other people's streams and I enjoyed the interaction with people, and that was kind of my goal. Like, hey, if I can make some money off this, I'll make money. I'll be happy. If I can afford to, upgrade a little bit on my computer and pay for a video game here and there, and so I put the push on, and I streamed and I streamed and I streamed, and I just never seemed to get anywhere with it. And I struggled with it for a while. And I mean, this might get a little, I don't know, a little dark, but I went through, we'll say, a touch of depression. I never dealt with like that in my life. I've always been the happy-go-lucky kind of guy, pretty easygoing. I mean, I do have a temper like most people, but I don't know. I just kind of went through. I don't know what it was, but just something happened, and I just kind of felt I was burnt out for sure. It was one thing, because I was pushing myself, and watching that stream number being low every day, it was difficult, and no one tuning in, and one or two people in the chat. And I mean, I appreciate anyone who ever showed up at any time. You don't ever get me wrong. It's not that I didn't appreciate that one person throwing the comments better than nobody, right?
Yeah.
But I struggled, and I mean, I had an aunt pass away, and everything just kind of just fucking went to a head for me, and I fucking hated everything. I mean, even us as friends, we kind of stopped. I mean, everything, just the brakes fucking went on everything in my life, and like it was horrible. I never been through anything like that in my life, and I find it difficult to talk about now. I didn't talk about it then. I mean, my wife knew something was wrong. I mean, you guys probably picked up on it when I kind of just fucking disappeared. I quit the podcast, and like everything was at odds, and I was filled with not hate towards anybody else, not even like technically even towards myself. I just wasn't fucking happy, and I was in a dark fucking spot. I'd never been like that before, and it was so weird to me that one day I'd like, yeah, I feel great, and like, I'd laugh and joke, and then just out of the blue, like later on that day or the next day, it's like I just don't fucking care. Like, I don't give a fuck about anything, and it's tough, man.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it took a while for me to finally kind of get out of it. And I mean, it kind of come back a bit this year, but I mean, a lot of people, they're really struggling this year too. And I mean, what's going on in the world right now, I consider myself pretty damn lucky where I live, when I haven't had to deal directly with it. Even though my wife works in retail, I do tech support. The two of us have been working through this the whole time, and the stress has been there, and there's been a lot of ups and downs. And yeah, you talk about me streaming, and I basically have stepped away from streaming. I tried to get back into it after a short break there, where I come back, and I felt I was doing a lot better, and I was really wanting to stream, and I was really wanting to make stuff better. And I went through and I made my alerts, and I done all that, and I really pushed, and then all of a sudden the switch turned again. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. So I took I took some time off again. Like, this has been, and I mean, I have health issues as well. I just been dealing with other health issues. I had back in May, I've developed gallstones, and I had a gallbladder attack in May. And it's been something I've been dealing with since. I mean, I haven't had my gallbladder removed. I mean, maybe it's for the best, because I mean, I'm eating a hell of a lot better than I have in my life. I've lost some weight, and I'm out walking, and I'm doing a lot better that way, and I feel better. I don't feel like can't see me coming back to streaming like anytime right soon. I'm loving this podcast thing I'm doing, or whatever you want to call this adventure.
Sure. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, like, you asked about my streaming, and that's kind of what I've kind of stepped away from.
Well, the career of Cryptic Panther has been, for a very long time, segmented, if you will. It was a very robust and just as dedicated and motivated attempt at, all the YouTube stuff, because before streaming got big, it was YouTube videos, and that's what we tried to do. You and I both tried. Yeah. And we both had our time of streaming, and that's kind of both fallen away as well. But being the most recent, bookmark so far for us, that was where I wanted to start off first. And then, moving now into the podcast and doing some awesome interviews. and I'm excited for your future content as well. So we're moving into what I feel is like a brighter area, and no less passionate, no less dedicated or motivated, but I feel like there's a substantial amount of feeling of success for you, if I'm not mistaken, of like finally what I feel like is after a long time of playing the game, pun intended, and and that battling that feeling of, you know, the lower viewer accounts, and like I do the same thing as well. Like I can't speak from a place of feeling any better about it, really, because a lot of my streams are dead as well. So that motivation to keep going and keep pushing forward, and for you to make a change from YouTube to streaming to podcasts to any type of content that you choose to create, you put 150% effort into it all the time. And that's why I said it was such a heartfelt introduction, is because really, really, I want you to know that regardless of anything that ever happens with any of our internet, you know, the things that we try to do, regardless of anything that ever happens or doesn't happen or whatever, I have appreciated the time that you've put in, and the dedication that you've shown to all this stuff, because it's inspiring. And I really, really admire that you keep going despite having hardships, both in the output and input of streaming, making stuff, and viewers, and the personal trials and tribulations as well. So it's awesome to see. I feel like a new renaissance for you in this type of way, in the direction that you're going now. It's really, really cool.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Again, all the hype, all the hype.
All the hype, and well deserved. Um, so let's segue then in maybe to another section here. So, what have you tried to do in the entire span of your gaming, in some way of sharing your gaming life? What have you tried to do to either advertise or like work with other people, or get noticed? You know, because obviously YouTube and streaming is such a wasteland of, you have your popular people, you have some middle tier people that have built a community through years of dedication and working towards that, the same as you have, but they found more success there, either through luck or whatever it may be. And then you have, you know, the tens of thousands, if not hundreds, of people that have, you know, one or two people pop in and all this. So how have you tried to separate from the pack? What efforts have you made to try to get a foothold and get that community that you've sought after?
Everything. Everything, everything, and then nothing apparently. Everything. I wrote letters. No kidding. All right, so, um, I, I mean, it was at first when I first started. I mean, I mentioned like when I took a quick look back at my original channel, and my first video I uploaded, oddly enough, was a Call of Duty Black Ops video, because back then,
Wow.
you could, they had that replay feature, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't into doing anything then. I mean, I was watching YouTube a little bit, didn't understand, like, hey, this is someone's job. It don't make any sense to me, But anyways, I uploaded a video because it was something funny that happened. Like, I mean, this crazy play that I done, and so I mean, hey, I just uploaded a video, and then as a group of friends that I made. And when me and you found each other online, because you were doing the interview thing, kind of like what I'm kind of doing now, but we were playing Battlefield, right? That old series years. So we met that way, because I reached out to you and you said, hey, I'll be on your show and that type of thing, and so like, I mean, hey, this was kind of something interesting. So I started to record my stuff on my PlayStation. And then I kind of like, I put up on YouTube. And so it was a lot of just, oh, hey, so-and-so I was playing with, I'm putting this clip on YouTube, and I tell people about it. And the circle of friends that I was, I was gaming with, that was kind of like my first thing. I wasn't really looking for much traction. It was just, hey, I'm putting this clip up. And then I started creating montages. So Reddit was kind of where I'd met a good chunk of the friends that I got through gaming. I met a lot of them on Reddit. Playing Battlefield 3 mostly. Was the first real Battlefield game I've gotten back into. I played the previous ones a bit, but nothing like I did with Battlefield 3. So then Battlefield 4 came, and the ability to record on the PlayStation, and then, that thing kind of gave me a motivation. And so it was a lot of posting on the subreddits that we were all in, and posting here and posting there. And I wasn't doing a lot of Twitter. I'm doing a little bit. I can't even remember when I started Twitter, man. Like it just was kind of blurred. But I mean, Reddit was kind of the big thing for me, and just kind of other people that I played with, anyone that had done videos and stuff, and just kind of back and forth. And I didn't do a big hard promotion. It just kind of seemed to get a few followers and get some people like subscribing to me on YouTube and commenting on videos. And a lot of it probably came from Reddit. Is probably where it originally came from. But as things going on, like, I mean, I do, that everybody does that, the air quote streamer Twitter, where you basically, the only thing you tweet's when you stream, So that's kind of what I've done for a long time. It's like every day, oh yeah, just buckle this fucking asshole. He's back live again for, Extra Life was the name of that charity, man. I just remember.
Extra Life.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Only took 12 minutes. But anyways, so yeah, so like, I mean, every day, like, I was just put out the tweets, and I was trying to be active on Twitter, but I never found an audience to tweet anything to. So a lot of times it was like my Twitter was, hey, if you want to know when I'm going live, if you're on Twitter, just follow me and you'll see that I'm live, streaming. Where before it was just my YouTube videos go up, because I always use it as a push for when my videos went live, because it was just another chance of someone else seeing the tweet. Maybe someone would retweet it. So that's kind of where I got mine from. A few people like yourself, and this is a broken machine who he eclipsed us all. He wasn't even streaming or recording videos. He might have done a little bit back then, but even though he wasn't even doing much. And I mean, I gamed with him before he was famous,
Yeah.
And that's kind of just the friends group, and then just kind of spread from there. And then I spent a lot of time doing videos, and when I got a capture device, and because I was tired of like recording for 15 minutes and then like have to stop what I'm doing so the video would save, because the PlayStation would only record for like 15 minutes. So I had a timer set up, like 14-minute timer, start to record, and I kept losing I'd have a fuck up where I'd forget to record or lose a clip, I bought a capture device, and I was putting it out there that I was trying to promote myself. And I even was part of an MCN for a while, which I don't even know if MCNs are even really much of a thing anymore on YouTube.
I have no idea.
I applied for it, and like they were taking on a bunch of small content creators. I keep saying streamers, but they were taking on a bunch of small content creators, and I was lucky enough that they accepted me, and I got I was underneath them, and I tried to use some of their tools. I tried to work with people, but the worst thing was anyone that seemed to be under this MCN either lived in California, which is a 4-hour time difference, or they were in Europe doing things in the middle of their day when it's either like the middle of my day, or when I'm getting ready to go to bed. 4 or 5 hour time differences all over the place. People were wanting to do they're playing games I didn't play. I struggled to try to fit in. I couldn't find a group of people under the same banner of the MCN that I was under to go anywhere. I was grateful that I had access to the music library, because I mean all my montages, like my old montage videos and stuff, they're still on YouTube, because that I have the right to use that music even though I'm no longer under the MCN. So those copyright claims, the copyright rights I had stayed, and that was one thing about the MCN is they said, hey, even if you leave, we're not going to pull your videos, we're not going to take over anything, everything's yours. And then I even made a little bit of money off a few Destiny videos, so putting stuff on Reddit again kind of paid off, and that's probably the biggest promotion stuff was between Twitter and Reddit. Yeah. And then worst thing is, and I mean, now trying to promote on Reddit just gets you blacklisted, man. Reddit.
Well, just because it's so inundated with there was a time when that was rare, and you would see somebody link to that. I had experience doing that as well, to where I would link to the Battlefield Reddit.
Yeah. And you'd get some traction.
You would, yeah. There was a way to get views that way, Yeah, it was. And then putting any type of your own self promotion onto Reddit, now you'll just get bombed.
Oh yeah, it's self promotion's a big no.
Yep.
But I mean, that's what I mean. We had our own subreddit too that I post a lot of videos in. A group was at the PlayStation Battlefield subreddit. So I put a lot of stuff in there. So anyone that wasn't maybe a friend of mine, but knew some of the other guys. They'd come in and they'd see the videos, and we were like posting your stuff was fine. That's was like it was in our own subreddit. That was the rule. Like, just don't spam 50 videos a day. Like, it was, you want to throw a video here, there, you know.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like that was kind of my big thing was word of mouth. Kind of was that Reddit, word of mouth, and Twitter. I mean, I don't really have any other platforms because I don't have
True.
Facebook.
I actually, and I'll drop a gem on you here that you, I'm sure, do not know. But there was a time where I was trying to stream very regularly. This was maybe 2 years ago. And I was streaming multiple times a week. I'd have like a set day and I would stream for a few hours. And you remember I was on D Live for a
Yep.
while and I was
Yep.
finding success there. And there was a night that I made, like, I'm sure you remember that huge stream that I had. The biggest stream of my life was on D Live. And I had made something like $150 in donations that day. And
Wow.
I was like, oh my God, this can't be real. Um, I had tried all kinds of things as well, but one of the things that led me down that path to have that success there, I actually had started doing promotions on Twitter, to where I actually paid for ads on Twitter for a little bit.
Oh, really?
I only dropped about $40, but the number of interactions that I got changed from like a couple dozen to over like 2 or 3 thousand.
Wow.
So I had a lot of people actually, and I don't know where it was. I never saw it in the wild, obviously, because of course Twitter is a vast universe.
Yeah.
But I had paid for promotion to try to do the same thing, and I
Wow.
was like, if this pays off to where I could get a few, if I pick up 5 regulars or 10 regulars, if I can just get like a solid base, then being higher up on that viewer count will kind of bring me over a certain threshold to where I'd get stragglers in. And then the
Yeah.
chances of taking them on as a regular, like it could snowball.
It's
So I was
it's
like,
to get that first the first step on that dry stone before you
yes,
put your foot on the wet one.
yep,
You know,
exactly.
it's yeah. I mean, and that's a struggle for a lot of people, and that's kind of like where this idea of these interviews come from. I mean, kind of do a little own self promotion right now, was because I'll talk to anybody. If you've started last week, if you've been streaming or just doing YouTube videos, like, it don't have to be streaming, it's content, like whatever you do. If you've
Yep.
been making YouTube videos since you were 12 and you're now 75, you know, I mean, it's impossible, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if you're like new, old, you're big, you're small. I don't care. I want to talk to people. I want to hear experiences because like this is where I missed when we done the podcast. You know, I was there every fucking week, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was there every week. I was this that was thing. Like, that was a big thing for me, was the podcast, talking gaming. Like, I mean, I've missed it, and this is why I'm back to what I'm doing, and I'm willing to, you know, not put myself in a box anymore. I'm willing. It's beyond the game, so it's gaming and whatever the fuck else I want to talk about. So, like, hell, I'm being interviewed on my own show.
Yes, and I'm happy to do it. This is great. Um, so let's see where we want to go next with this. I've got the list of interview questions here I'm looking at. So we've talked about, the struggle of
Yeah.
trying to push past the hump of getting past viewers and everything like that. We talked about promotion and what we've both done in that aspect. So let's get a little more personal then, I guess. How has being a content creator, both for your YouTube streaming and all this stuff, because obviously not only is gaming a very, very time consuming hobby and passion that people have, but to go to pun the title of your series here, beyond the games, to go beyond the time it takes to actually sit down and play and focus on something, you do much, much more than that. Gaming is a huge aspect of your life, and you're probably more passionate about it than almost anybody else that I know. So, that being said, when it's that big of a focus and a constant um, destination for you to put your effort towards, how has that affected, if you don't mind me asking, kind of like your personal life? Like, so obviously, your wife embraces your gaming lifestyle. How do other friends and family react though? I know that, like, you've been doing this a very long time. Gaming has been a huge pastime for you even before content creating. But now over the past years, do you have these conversations with people? Is this a regular thing? Do people still, kind of shake their head or give you crap? Like, how does it affect, personal relationships in that way?
Well, first off, I don't have a problem answering the question because I have no problem asking the question. So, my wife, I mean, we've been together for coming up. Actually, it's 21 years this year, just past September. 1st of September is our wedding anniversary, but we've been together for 21 years.
Wow.
Yeah, she's awesome. I mean, she puts up with it. Like that's I mean it's funny. I mean, whenever we were first dating, I was doing like a little bit, but gaming wasn't a big chunk of my life then really.
Yeah, no. Atari back then wasn't a big deal.
Jesus. No, I played Atari when I was a kid, man. Remember, I'm old as fuck. But but yeah, like I mean, I'd done gaming as in my young years in the teenage years. I'd done all that, and I kind of got away from it. I'd done a little bit of PC gaming, and then just it wasn't really my thing. I was working, and I was going out partying, and games just weren't really a thing. And I kind of got back into it, and she was like, well, whatever, like, I mean, we were dating and living together, and I, was got a PlayStation 2, and then, I was playing a lot of SOCOM with a buddy of mine, and stuff like that, and I mean, it just, it was kind of casual. Then I kind of get into PC gaming, and, that's expensive. Back then it wasn't as bad as it is today, it seems, but, I got a gaming PC, and I just was just playing video games. Like, it was never a big, it wasn't my life, like it seems to be now. And so anyways, as it went along, and I got an Xbox 360, and the group of guys I worked with, we played Halo 3, like if we weren't working, we were gaming. And then she didn't really have any problems with it, because I mean, she'd do her own thing and I'd do my thing, and she'd watch me play some games, and she'd have to listen to me talk about it, But as things went along, she's always been supportive. Like when I'd done YouTube stuff, she would ask me what videos I put up. I was doing 2 videos a day, man, for a long time. I was recording when I wasn't working, and then when I wasn't working and recording, I was editing, and then my computer run every night rendering videos. Like, so I mean, she kind of got used to me doing it, and I mean, she never like ever said you should stop. She never ever said that to me. She always asked me about game, and she'd go, "You playing with the guys tonight? Are you doing this? Are you streaming?" Like, she's been supportive. My parents, they like, yeah, I mean, my parents they're not young people. My parents come from a quite older generation, so it was always like, are you spending more money on video game stuff? Like when I say, oh, I'm getting a new monitor, or I'm buying a new this, or I'm getting a new PlayStation. And it's like, well, you're thinking about things to spend your money on, that's kind of like my parents, but they never like outright said, like you're wasting your fucking time, wasting your life. They don't quite understand it, I don't think. Like, I mean, even, when my streaming took off, and I got, I was doing really, I was doing all right. I had a few people watching me, and I got big group of friends I played with and streamed. And then all of a sudden, I got affiliated. And I mean, that was a big step for me. And then, and a bunch of the guys that I knew from gaming and from other streams and stuff, and they done my first kind of like my appreciation I done, because the guys followed me enough to get me to the affiliate. They come in, and I got like, sub bombed like the shit out of by a bunch of them, and like I got a boatload of, like, one guy jumped in and dropped a bunch of bits, and I got a solid, like, I was like in fucking awe. Like, I had no idea. I was so stoked, and just I was over the moon. Like, I was like a kid at Christmas. I finally felt like I was, hey, like, I'm doing something. Like, it was so awesome. And like to explain, to go upstairs, and like I was like telling my wife, and I must have looked like a crackhead who just scored. Like, I was over the moon, and she was happy for me. And then I'm telling my parents, they're just like, they not that they just understand. Like, it's not their thing. My parents don't watch my streams. They don't watch my content. I think when I talk about gaming, it's kind of like they just listen to be nice, but they've never said, look, we're tired of you doing this. You need to do something else. You need to, grow up. Or my parents have never been like that. Most of my friends are gamers, right? So I don't really get a lot of weird looks. I mean, the last while. I mean, who do you look at now? I look at my wife every day because I work from home during a pandemic. But some of the people I worked with when I was at the office and stuff, like some of the people, like just it's not their bag. They don't get it. They don't understand it. But they don't like look at me like I got three heads. They just it's not their thing, or they're gamers, but they don't stream. Or like one of the ladies I work with, her young fella, he's probably a Fortnite fan because most of them are. I think I could be tweaking that turn. The kid could hate it. I don't know, but I mean, like he watches YouTube videos and he watches streams because she asked me one time about we were chatting on IM and she said something about gaming and we were just kind of chatting and she said that her son watches streamers and YouTubers and stuff and it's kind of like he's a big fan of gaming. But most people I game with or work with other than one fella, no one really is a big gamer or streamer. So it's not a big topic of discussion. It's usually when you talk to your coworkers, you're bitching about work. So, but
Sure.
yeah, like my wife's always been supportive. I couldn't, I mean, she's not even, I actually shouldn't say, I can't say that now. She recently, she bought a Switch. So there's a Switch in my house now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so she's been playing that, and I mean, I can't sit here and lie. I've been messing around with it. I mean, like it's still no 4K PlayStation or no fucking 1080 60 on my PC. But
Hold on just one second. I got to text Uber and let him know that you've crossed over.
He listens to this. I'll get fucking bombarded on Twitter. I'll never hear the end of it if Uber hears this.
Nintendo fanboy.
Hey man, I grew up on fucking Nintendo, so.
No, it's almost an inside joke, really, from the podcast days, I guess.
That
it was like it was every time.
Well, that's what his first foray into being on our podcast. We brought him on for him to try to defend the Switch. Remember that? And then we destroyed that poor boy. I think he went and ate some raw meat after that. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that was good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about a bunch of different things so far. Loving this discussion. What I want to get into is a little bit more of the technical side then. So we'll switch gears and tell us about your setup and what you use. And I know you're always trying to tinker and make everything better. So what have you found to be like the most beneficial things so far for you?
Well, a good mouse and keyboard. I didn't have how to say it. I didn't really give a shit about my mouse and keyboard before. Like I just got a good keyboard because I was just playing. I was gaming myself. I was playing a little bit online, but I mean, like I was just gaming. I didn't really put much thought into my mouse and keyboard. And the more that you watch people game and stream, and the more people that you hear with the equipment they use, and you're thinking, well, maybe it's time I stopped, buying cheap shit and bought something good. So I got a Logitech G910 keyboard. My buddy doing workouts with he recommended it. I have a Logitech G502, which is a very popular mouse from Logitech. It's great. Because before I had a Logitech. It was like a wireless. It was similar to what I have in style. It had a gamery look, but it wasn't really. It was a wireless. It wasn't designed for gaming like the big high-end gaming ones are. So I got a good quality mouse. I got a good keyboard. My microphone, even though like people say the microphone sounds good, and I mean I got it. It's a Blue. Most people never heard of the Nessie. Most people have never heard of it. I
think everybody's heard of Nessie.
Yeah, but not the Blue Nessie though. It's a Blue microphone. It's on its own stand. I just wish it was mountable. It's not because the base on it weighs about 17 pounds.
God,
but I mean, it's not that heavy, but it's heavy. Like all the stuff is in the base of it. It's USB. There's a system built in diffusion, so a good quality mic. Even though like I think my audio is all right, it could be a lot better. So a good quality mic. My mouse and keyboard. I got a cheap Logitech. I mean, it seems like I'm pumping Logitech out the ass here, but it just happened to be what I bought. A webcam. I just got a cheaper. I think it's a 270. It's a few years old model, but it's just a 720p 30 frames a second camera. You don't need anything. I don't need a $3,000 Sony DSLR to for my streams. That's for fucking sure. No one wants to see this mug in 4K. So like I mean, it's just I never went over the board because I didn't have a lot of money to invest in streaming. Like it was like okay, like I bought a Stream Deck, which I thought was it really helped because switching scenes and everything else was such a pain to tab out of the game and click on the shit on my screen because I had 2 monitors. I have 3 now, so I've upgraded my I got a better monitor. I got a 27-inch, 144 hertz monitor, which my poor 1060 can't push the limit of. My video card's like, you bought a 144 hertz monitor, motherfucker? What are you thinking? I'm over here, you're turning me all down to medium, and I'm over here choking to death on CFD. It was like a bitch, and you bought a 144 hertz monitor. But don't tell my 1060 it's soon going to be run over by my car when I buy a better GPU. Just upgrading my PC. I mean, recently new motherboard, more RAM, bigger power supply. I got a good set of headphones. That was a struggle. If anyone's ever been on my Twitter feed, probably in the last year, looking for fucking ideas for headphones. I have not that I have an extremely large head, but I always found headphones uncomfortable, so I struggled to find good headphones. I got a set of Shures, and they're awesome. I love them. Stream Deck was probably to streaming my biggest thing other than the camera, because you need a cam really to stream. Some people do well without a cam, but I just figure I prefer a stream with a cam as well, watching them.
Yeah.
Because it's the reaction of the person sometimes is gold. So like that was the thing in the Stream Deck. Definitely made a difference when I added the soundboard and had all that working with all the audio, like and dropping like clips and shit on top of my stream. Like it made it feel like I was getting better, and it added that extra level to my stream just to me sitting here staring at the camera, and playing Sea of Thieves or whatever I was playing. So that's it. I mean, I definitely want. I mean, I had a green screen too. I had first when I started. This is the best. When we first on that live stream for Extra Life, I never had a cam, right? So this was a face reveal for me. And I'm thinking, well, the office I stream in, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but there's nothing to look at behind me, right? My other desk for work is behind me with monitors. It just looks like it looks sad. Like I have another desk I have to work at every day. Don't look at it. It's behind me. I don't want to look at it in my, I don't want to see it. I don't want anyone else to see it. So I went and my green screen was green bristle board. Couple sheets of green bristle board and some thin pieces of strapping that my dad had in his basement. We put it together and hung it because I have a drop ceiling in my basement. The basement's finished, but it has a drop ceiling in it. So the panels can move. So I hooked it so it rested up against the back of my chair because it was that small to cover the frame of the cam. So I had a piece of green bristle board pushed against basically resting against the back of my chair as a green screen. That's how I started. That's what I started with. I started with a mediocre 24-inch monitor. I was using my shitty mouse and shitty keyboard. I had my decent mic already, the blue that I've been using. I've been using it for a while now. So I had that. I had no Stream Deck, and I had a piece of bristle board, 2 pieces of bristle board hanging from string from my ceiling as my green screen, dude. Now I have, the better keyboard, the better mouse, the Stream Deck, a PC that's not bad. It needs a better GPU. My CPU is a great one. I got a 2600X. The Ryzen 5, it just sits there and like I can throw pretty much anything at it. It's just like whatever. It's overclocked to 4 gigahertz. I didn't put it's not water cooled, so I don't just as a stock cooler, so I didn't overclock it. I put a small overclock on it. It runs at 4 gigahertz. But my green screen now is an actual green screen cloth. It's still homemade. It still hangs from my ceiling behind me, but it doesn't hang as close to me because it's a little bit bigger now. My ceiling, my lights right above me, so I had 2 LED bulbs in that, and between the lights because my office is not a dark office. It's not overly dark. The paint on the walls is I don't know. It's like a a lightish green. I hate it, but anyways, it was here when I bought the house. But the two LED bulbs in my light above did enough backlighting on my green screen, so I didn't have to go buy any like key lights or anything like that. So as my streaming career I thought was going somewhere, I was always trying to figure out how to make it better. And I wanted to ditch the green screen, but I have nothing behind me. And I tried to reconfigure and build my office a different way so I could put stuff behind me, so I could change it up and do something different. And then I just, like I said, I just stepped away from streaming. So now I have a green screen I'm not using in a Stream Deck that doesn't get much use. So maybe I'll put them up on eBay. I get this homemade green screen, like $20. I'll fold it up and ship it. I'll autograph it, you know.
You never know.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so I mean, like, you don't need, like, there's some people out there, like, you see them, like, I interviewed the 8-Bit D, and she started, like, you know, if you listen to the interview, which you should go back and listen to all my stuff, but if you in the interview I asked her the same question, and she used to have a green screen, same thing, there was nothing behind her interesting, but now she has like interesting stuff in her background. She's got those lights on the LED lights on the wall, or the RGB lights on the wall, and like her stream looks good. And I mean, like I said, anytime I get a chance to tune in, 'cause she streams late at night, and I'm old, I go to bed early. But yeah, I mean, her stream looks really good. And I mean, some of the other streamers I watch use green screens, and there's a few that I watch that don't, but they have interesting backdrops. So my advice to anybody, I guess if I'm going to throw any down, is you don't need to jump into streaming or content creation and spend a fuck ton of money to start. I started with nothing. I started with a PlayStation 4, and my PC wasn't even a gaming PC at the time. I was working that AMD processor to the bone rendering, because that poor thing, I kicked the piss out of it every night rendering video. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars, and same as streaming. Like the cam I bought, it's a Logitech C270. It's like 5 years old. I got it for like a steal for like $45. The Stream Deck was probably, between the Stream Deck, mouse, and keyboard, those are my most expensive things outside of the monitor. But yeah, I mean, you don't need to spend a shit ton of money. You just need to be patient and work with what you got. I mean, yeah, I would love to take every ounce of my money I have and build myself a brand new rig, but I got a mortgage and a car payment and a wife that would probably push me down the stairs if she come over from work. And I said, yeah, I was going to pay the mortgage this month, but come look at the new gaming rig I just bought. Yeah, no, that wouldn't.
Yeah, she'd probably beat you with it.
Yeah, she pushed me down the stairs and then used it to crush my skull if there was anything left of me. No, my wife wouldn't do that. She just probably put a pillow over my face. Less mess.
Yeah.
So I mean, technology is wonderful, but it's wonderfully expensive. So.
Yep, that's true. And you can't buy, like I've mentioned several times, you can't buy that motivation.
No.
To keep going, and the effort that you put in is worth more than the tech, for sure.
Exactly, but I mean, you still can't stream with a cell phone camera and well, I shouldn't say that. You can, I guess. You can't stream with a 280p laptop camera and and a piece of string and a cup for a mic. That you can't do that. I ain't gonna fly, unless there's some weird, cruel people that like to watch that shit.
I feel like there was someone we knew that streamed like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. No names, but. All right, so I want to start heading towards the end of the tunnel here. I've got 2 more questions for you.
Sure.
So it doesn't have to be streaming, but have you made content for a game that you hadn't liked, or it was just a miserable experience for you, but you did it because you were finding success there, either within the view count or people watching or lots of comments, people reacting, that you were getting something out of it, but you hated doing it? Was there an experience like that for you?
Would it be wrong to say all of it?
The whole thing.
Even this right now, I'm done. This fucking interview is over. No, that was one of the questions that I find is a tough one to ask. It's going to be a tough one for some people to answer. For me, no. I never done that, and that was one reason I asked the question, because I know there's some people, they stream the same thing and they've been streaming the same thing pretty much, and like it's hard to imagine, because like I said, I don't watch every stream that these stream. Like, I don't sit in front of my computer and watch streamers all the time. Um, but it's one question that I think it should be addressed, and I hope everyone I ever ask it to can answer it honestly. I mean, I've probably have on my YouTube channel a lot of playlists that have a few videos and then there's none. Because I've stopped playing the game, and I won't make content I'm not enjoying. It'd be really hard to sound like you're interested. I mean, when I stream, my main go-to was a lot of Sea of Thieves. Dead by Daylight was big for me as well, and in what I streamed, I didn't say it was big as in views, but that's where I met. That's where I met like David D and stuff like that. She was streaming Dead by Daylight because I was streaming it, so I was watching other streamers, and there was a few people that I watched and played with and stuff like that along the way. But yeah, I just, whenever I'm not playing, I'm not enjoying, I don't play it. The other video, one of the other podcasts I done with good buddy Cody, aka Fatty, was the games you've stopped playing and why. My list is pretty damn long, and that goes for games that I've recorded, games that I've streamed that I've stopped because I wasn't enjoying the game, so I won't continue to make it. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to rack my brain to think, was there something that I was putting out that no, I haven't. And I won't. I mean, that's kind of...
Well, that's probably the best answer that you could give, though, objectively.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, why do it if you don't enjoy it?
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not going to name any names, but I am not a streamer that, has 800 to 1200 people in their channel every day. I'm not a full-time streamer. I'm not banking on those subs, those bits, those donos to pay my mortgage and to pay, so it's easier for someone in my position to say, hey, like, I'm streaming this game. I'm getting like 5-6 views, whatever, because my view count's been turned off for a long fucking time. But when I go back into my VODs and I see 0, 1, 1, 2, one of those might have been me because I have my stream up, because that's what I have running on my monitor to keep an eye on to make sure it's not falling apart on Twitch. But yeah, I mean, as someone who's not a full-time streamer that's streaming a game that's bringing in views is going to pay my mortgage. In other words, I'm not going to lose my car if I stop streaming because I work. So like, that's like, I go to my job every day. I go to do my job, and there's days that I'd rather do anything than go to work, because there's days I hate my job, because a job is a job. It's not, if you can do something you love every day, you're not going to work. So yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, it's your job whenever you're a full-time streamer, full-time YouTuber, full-time whatever you want to do in content creation. If this is paying your fucking mortgage, how much are you doing this? And after you get off, you turn the cam off and the mics are off, and you put your your headset down, and you're going, oh my fucking god, I can't believe the day's finally over. I'm guaranteed there's quite a few streamers that do that. And
there's gotta be.
Oh yeah. I bet it's the numbers are surprising. So that's one reason the question's in there. But as someone like me, no, I don't think I've ever stuck with anything at all. Because I enjoyed Sea of Thieves right up until I stopped playing it. I don't even play it off stream anymore. I've kind of stepped back from it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's definitely going to be a question. Like I said, when I talked to Cody about it, he said that he was streaming some GTA RP, and he hated it, but he was getting views. So someone is even, no offense to him, he's a goddamn good friend of mine, and someone as small as he is in the streaming community. I mean, he was doing really well there for a chunk of time, which, hell, that was awesome. But even him, like, is being a smaller streamer, he was doing content he didn't like because it was bringing in views, right? And that's the thing. Like, I mean, I
get a foothold at some point.
Yeah, like, he was hoping that, if he switched games, those people would follow him. And that's kind of, if I had still been streaming and playing Sea of Thieves and I decided to leave it and I had some loyal viewers, I'd hope they'd follow me. I'm hoping they're
Yeah.
not there just to watch me sail a boat. I hope they're there because they find me at least halfway entertaining. But yeah, I mean, like I've never done. I mean, I played a game, played it like for 5 or 6 times. Maybe off stream, and be like, I'm done. Don't play anymore. You know, like I have a long list of games I've never finished.
The
So
graveyard of games, yeah.
yeah, that's what we're calling it. Yeah.
All right, well then let's try to finish on here some positive notes. So I put this one on the list. I'd like to know if you can pinpoint what do you think your best. I put streaming experience in the question, but is there like one session of either streaming or something you did for content creation, like a video even, or some type of like gaming content creating streaming experience that you've had that's like that's your Everest, like that's been the best moment that you'll always remember and go back to, like this is it, this is the high point.
Well, I'm hoping that when I say it, it's not true. I hope I get more high points to come.
Well,
But
to this point,
to
yeah.
this point, yeah, I know what you meant, but I'm just saying, everybody, take pity on me and watch all this stuff. um, high point, like it would be getting affiliate. I mean, I know like affiliate's not difficult. A lot of people, like affiliate's nothing to throw around. Affiliated, Twitch streamer. And no offense to anyone that's still trying to get there. I mean, it's like I'm not making light of not being there, and I'm not making light of being there because I mean I'm affiliated on Twitch. It says right on my Twitter bio. I'm proud of it because it's an achievement. Maybe not a big one as some people look at it, but getting affiliate and that stream where everyone showed up and they all knew what was coming. They had planned it. They all knew it was coming, and they sub-bombed the shit out of me, and my alert went off over because I didn't have it set up after so many just to, I wasn't smart enough to do that. So every time a sub rolled in, my sub alert played, and it went on and on and on. And when I thought it was over, someone hit me with another 5 or 10, spot, and it was like I was broken. It was an experience. Another thing was leading up to that point, I guess, was one of the first times I made money off of YouTube. When I was under that MCN, because I was able to monetize my videos, I'd have to look it up exactly, but there was I don't know if the first one I ever made money off was a Battlefield video, but one of the ones I remember was a Destiny video. I'd done one where there was like one of the quest things, and he had to go find this quest point. So I done a quick tutorial. It was a really short video, like you went from, and I edited it and I fast forwarded, made it right short and quick, so that if anyone's looking for it, it was not one of these 6-minute 60 seconds of crazy dubstep intro, me telling you to smash the like button. I stay away from that shit that I fucking hate because I don't want to be like everybody else. Mm-hmm. And so I made a quick video, and it was to the point. Like I if you play Destiny, you load into the planet. I jumped on my bike, and boom, I blew over to the spot. Boom, right here. It was a short video, fast forwarded right quick. I don't think I even had audio on it. It was just like, here's how you find this. Boom, here it is. And I got some great comments and feedback. Oh, great, right to the point. Loved it, And then all of a sudden, the views started rolling in on it, and I was like, wow, I'm actually getting some views. It felt good. And then all of a sudden, I don't know how long after, because I think it was once a month. If you were making money, then they might have paid you. All of a sudden, I got an email about money. What the hell? I made money off a YouTube video? Like, it wasn't any great amount of money, but I got paid. I was like, wow. Like, what the hell? I was so excited. Yeah. It was like, if I could do that like every month, if I made $35 a month, I would have been fucking tickle pink, man.
Yeah.
I would have been happier than a kid in a candy store with that kind of money. $35. But I'm seriously though. If I was making money, I would have been over the moon. But yeah, that was probably, there's a lot of stepping stones to get, in your first video, and then you first get your first few views and a comment, you know yourself. from you starting out on YouTube and doing the stuff you've done before. The engagement was always the big point for me. You know, it was always, I got 2 likes in this video, I got 3 likes in this video, I got 40 views in this video, I got 70 views in this video. You know, like that was always my thing. It was, you know, it was always something. And there's the pinnacle up until this point would probably be that stream where everybody showed up and I felt like there was something there, you know, like they went out of their way to gather up on me and kind of gang up on me, so to speak, and
in the best way,
you know, and sub bomb me and try to break me, and they fucking near did. I was in shock probably for 3/4 of that stream, like literally, like I was useless. Like it was something I've never experienced, and I didn't cry, you know, like I mean, because I was telling Cody about it, and he said, "Did you cry?" I said, "No, I didn't cry," but I mean, like it was an overwhelming, you know, sense that I was like, man, like shit, this was something awesome. So that's probably till to this day, probably right now, the highest point, I'd say.
That's awesome.
I mean, I'm gonna do a discussion video on it. I've been trying to find time to do it, but I mean, it's been a little busy, work and home life and helping my parents with stuff and just kind of taking a little bit of me time again. I'm just enjoying playing some games and hanging out with my wife. But I recently had a video reach 100,000 views.
God.
Yeah, I mean, there's no money made on it. I mean, it's an old video, and all of a sudden it was funny. I'm gonna do a video on this, so I'm not gonna go great into detail on it because it's not what this is about. But that was pretty fucking cool. But yeah, still to like the biggest feeling of doing something was that appreciation stream where the boys all showed up and tried to break me.
Yeah, dog piled on you with love.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. That was a pretty cool feeling. So yeah, I'd say that's probably my pinnacle to this point.
That's awesome, man. Well, definitely only hoping for good things and better highs for you and all that. So moving forward here to kind of bookmark the end, you've got some exciting things lined up. You've got what I feel is again a almost a renaissance here for you, moving in a new direction, and really enjoying you seeing, you know, that passion come back and that enthusiasm, and happy to see you so active again, and thrilled as always to be a part in any way and talk to you for some time. So thank you for having me on here. Is there anybody or anything you want to tease or you want to look forward to, keep an eye out, or anything you've got going on that you want to just take a second to talk about in any way?
Well, I'm not going to name any names because I'm not going to do that here. But coming up, I have lined up what I feel are, at least right at the moment, I have two confirms for some interviews, and I'm stoked. And I'm going to do it right here. I'm going to ask for you to be one of my next interviewees, I should say. So I got 3. I got two
Okay.
two confirmed, and I guess I got 3 confirmed.
Well, of course, you know I'm there. Yeah,
awesome.
I'm done.
Appreciate it. So we're gonna flip this around in the future. But I get a I didn't want to even give too much. It's per se they're Twitch. It's Twitch. They're streamers. I'm giving away too much there saying that. They're someone I've gamed with. I've etc. I've been in their streams quite a bit. Trying to line something up, hopefully in the near future, like next week. This is my first day off. Technically, I'm on vacation, and we're recording this on Friday the 11th. So I'm going away, actually going to visit my good buddy Cody, aka Fatty, for a couple of days. Him and his girlfriend or wife, we want to call her, their kids. So like that's a big thing for me. I'm excited as hell for that. And I got an interview lined up for hopefully first next week. And like this is going to probably be up before it because just timeline wise to get something nailed down. I have someone that's a creator of content, but not in the same aspect of what we're used to. They create other things besides just videos and streams. So that's going to be fun. I got to think of some interesting questions for that individual. Game discussions is going to be something I'm going to try to keep going on this podcast. And I'm also thinking of rebranding. This is currently
That's a lot of big moves.
This is currently going up on Cryptic Panther Gaming, my YouTube channel, and it's Beyond the Games. And I still could eventually upload video content, as in gaming of some sort, in the future, because I mean I still like doing that. If I can get the itch to do it again, I'll definitely go back to it. But this podcast thing, discussion stuff, interviews, like I am broadening my horizons. I'm stepping outside of a locked in format. I want to do something, and I'm enjoying what I'm doing, having no set format. So I'm thinking even just taking the Cryptic Panther Gaming and taking that name and setting it aside and changing everything to Beyond the Games and just going forward with it as a complete rebrand. And I'm still on the fence, like I said earlier, like pre-podcast or pre-interview, I guess we could say. I'm one person, so it's the brainstorming is only on one side here. It's hard to bounce stuff off myself all the time, so it's gonna take a little stumbling here and there, I think, to get a good footing. But I have some ideas. I've reached out to some people. I've got some feedback, and yeah, so I'm excited for what's potentially coming. I said, I want to say more, but I don't, because I don't want.
Yeah, no.
Don't give it away. I don't want to give everything away. I want everyone
Of course
to be
not. And I'm putting you on the spot as well, asking you that right here at the end. But
that's fine. Hey man, I don't mind someone asking the questions. I mean, I gotta ask them back. So I gotta ask them out. I should be able to answer them. That's the way I look at it. That's why I wanted this to be done. If I'm gonna ask other people to air themselves out, then I definitely put myself into the gauntlet as well. So
sure. Well, I appreciate you calling me up and let me do this for you,
dude. I appreciate you doing this for me, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, no question about it. Love spending time with you, and a lot of awesome discussions here with these points, and maybe some things that people didn't know about you, and hopefully some expansion on the future for you, and where this is all going to go. So very excited to see what you got in store, man. Super happy for you and proud of you. And I think that's going to be it. I don't have any more questions lined up that I've got. So you want to do the outro? You want me to send us off?
Hey, dude, you're in the driver's seat today.
I'm in the driver's seat. Okay, that's right. So I'm taking control. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hopefully this has been beneficial for you, educational, maybe a little bit entertaining. Thank you guys so much. And for Beyond the Games, this is the end of this content. Let me try that again. Content creator interview. A little rusty here. So thank you guys so much for Cryptic Panther and I, Gladys the Baker. We thank you for listening, and we will see you guys next time. Take care.